Hey everyone, today we're going to have a play with some different sorts of jewellery bezels. We've got some open back ones, including a really ornate one. It's really funky, isn't it? And we've got some fairly standard little tray bezels, and then we've got this like filigree butterfly thing. It's also hollow, so I thought we'd see if we could do some similar effects using that. What I'm going to be using today is some of the little pack of freebies that came with my order from Crystal Enigma. They're like holographic shimmery foils and threads, and it's just a little thank you. Look, there you go, it says on the back, thank you gift from Crystal Enigma. So I'm starting to collect quite a lot of these little packets of freebies that come along with your main orders, so I thought we'd have a play. Going to use some ultraviolet resin as well, so let's see how we get on. I've got, first of all, the bezels that I showed you a moment ago. I've got a little sticky mat. This is just one of my little silicone mats that I make, so I've got one of those handy. I've also got a little pot. This is a little silicone pot that I'm going to use to mix up coloured UV resin in, and I have got the UV resin itself. Now, I've got two sorts here. One is the high viscosity one, and one is the new formula regular viscosity. They're both from Dichroic. I'm getting on really well with these at the moment, so I've got quite a lot in stock, so we'll be using those. The other things I've got handy are just, in case I need to push the resin around, a cocktail stick and a micro brush. Not sure whether or which of those I will need. And of course there's all these little bits that I showed you earlier. Let's have a look at what the bits are. The observant amongst you will notice that though when you're using open back bezels like these, you usually use tape under them. I'm not. You may have seen in one of my recent videos that I found I can use these sticky mats because they're squishy and sticky instead, as long as I'm careful. Right, let's have a look at what's in this little bag then. So yeah, I've emptied this little bag out, and as you can see I've got lots of little snippets. Now, people often ask me what to do with leftovers, and that's some of the fibres. These are fusible. Don't know if I use the fibres. But yeah, people ask me what to do with leftovers a lot, and there's a lot of little, I end up with a lot of little bits like this too. So these are all little scraps and snippets of the fusible fibres. So that's what we're going to be putting in these, and largely the experiment is to see whether what they look like clear, what they look like with a black background, in open bezels and in closed ones like these, traditional tray bezels, and also just have a play with this little butterfly, see if I can do anything interesting with it. So there we go, that's our mission, should we choose to accept it. So let's have a look at the UV resin first of all. Now you'll notice I don't tend to wear gloves when I'm using this. I probably should, because I do get in a bit of a sticky mess sometimes, but yeah, gloves do get on my nerves. I don't like wearing them unless I have to. Now all I've done is I've pushed the little bezels down quite firmly onto the sticky mat. It is just silicone, there's no actual glue on the mat or anything like that. But I am just popping a little bit of the UV resin in the ones I'm going to keep clear. Not sure what I'm doing with the butterfly yet, I'll come to that last. It might even end up being a subject of a different video. Now what I find is, because these sticky mats are, well, they're clingy more than sticky really, but they do hold the little bezels quite well in place, so as long as you don't leave them for hours and hours, it's the resin doesn't seep out from underneath. So there you go. Now the other thing I'll be using today, should I mention this, I've got a new torch. Look at that bad boy, it's huge. Anyway, so rather than my usual little torch that I stick on the side of my desk, or one of my nail art torches, I'm going to be using this just because it's new and I want to. That's all, no reason other than that. Now I'm just curing that quickly, just to give it a bit of a cure off. It doesn't need to be properly cured. It's just so it doesn't come seeping out or anything. Now, which of these am I going to do? I think I'll do the silver tray one with the clear rather than the black background, because I think that's one perhaps that will show the colours through. best of our fantasy film stuff. Now I'll put the links for all of this lot, if I can find the butterflies and these. I know these are readily available. I'll do what I can. I'll find the links for you, both from the UK and the US Amazon. I'm pretty sure I will be able to find them all, to be fair. These ones definitely. I'm not sure about the fusible films. I got those from Crystal Enigma, and I know where I got them from was their eBay shop, which is the UK eBay. I'll do a bit of research. What they sent me, obviously, was a pack that I'd ordered, a proper big pack of all the different fusible films and things. It's just really nice when they send you a little extra, isn't it? So this is my little freebie gift that came with them. They clearly know that we're going to find all these little bits useful. We're crafters, after all. We can find uses for pretty much anything, I think. If you have any problems with little bubbles, I can see I've got a couple on there. You can't really see them on the open back ones. But if you have any problems with any little bubbles, this is just a long nose torch thingy. It's one of those. It's a lighter jobby that you use in your kitchen. I'll put you the link for those as well. Obviously, I've got a proper blowtorch as well, which is sometimes used for things, and sometimes I just spritz with alcohol. That works well too. But I find with UV resin, just that long nose lighter thingy works very well. Okay, now these other ones, I'm still ignoring let's put the butterfly to one side for now, in fact. With these other ones, I want to try to get black to cure. Now, black in UV resin can be a real pain, and the simple reason for that is pretty obvious, really, if you think about it, is that if you've put black in it, the UV light isn't going to go through terribly well. So usually with any colour, if you put too much, your UV resin isn't going to cure very well. And also with liquid pigments, if you put too much into any sort of resin, it isn't going to cure at all. It'll really upset it, and the curing process will be ruined. So I'm just getting a wipe. This is why I should have worn gloves. Look, got black on my finger now. Anyway, so we're just going to see if we can do this actually, if it works. Now that was only one drop, and that was the Vuba colours. I think that's what it's called. This is the Vuba Vista colours. I really like their resin as well, by the way. I'm impressed with their UV resin that I've been using lately as well. But yeah, you can see one drop has made that really, really black. Now, whether this will cure or not, I don't know. I'm just going to drop it in and we'll spread it very thinly and cure. Now, because I wanted to use the sticky mat rather than the tape, it's kind of meant that I can't use a mirror under this as I normally would with UV resin. Just press that down, make sure it's still held. Now, I could, of course, have used my clear sticky mat. But you know what? I'd like to pretend there's some science to this. The truth is, I just forgot. So, never mind. I have got a clear sticky mat that you can put a mirror under it. I've also got a mirror that has been turned into a sticky mat. That works really well. But anyway, this one's pretty. It's glittery. It's blue. So, you know. And of course not everybody's got mirrors and things like that on the go. So let's just see if this will work. Now I'm trying to spread this as thin as I can. I'm thinking actually my micro brush might be better now, rather than the cocktail stick. I need to get this thick enough, thick enough for it to stick all over the silicone mat. Because if you can get away with using a silicone mat, it means you haven't got the trauma of trying to peel tape off the back. Resin tape is very, very good, I hasten to add. Anything bigger, I would definitely be using resin tape. And there's some things that are just plain awkward, so resin tape is the way to go then. I do use it quite a lot. This is more of a case of showing you an alternative. Right, I'm going to try and zap that before it escapes anywhere. Let's just do a quick debubble. That also helps to smooth the surface off, by the way. the heat from the torch. While that one's doing, I'll point the torch away from it slightly. I'm going to get this little gold one filled in too. If these work, these are going to be necklaces for me, although I might make one a celebratory giveaway. Now, some of you may know, it depends on where you're up to with watching my videos and what date it is when you're watching it. Today, for me, it's the 9th of May, and I have just found out that I have been approved by the YouTube Partner Programme. Now, this not only means that I can obviously make a little bit of money from adverts that they show on YouTube to help fund the channel, because obviously I do get through an awful lot of materials and equipment to make these videos for you all. So it'll help to fund that, but also it does mean, and this is the fun bit, that I can now offer memberships. Now, the memberships will start from only £2.99 a month, and bear in mind, none of this has any effect on the existing content and the way I do the channel generally. This is an extra, so those of you who aren't able to or don't wish to join, that's not a problem at all. You'll see no difference at all. This is an extra. Now, this extra will give people access to all sorts of, the usual fun things like stickers and emojis and things like that I've got for you, but also things like super chats and super thanks, which are lovely for when we're doing live chats and the like. And what really importantly from your point of view, I would say, I can now offer giveaways, freebies, a lot easier, things like that. Thank you gifts to those who have been so kindly supporting me. So, if anybody would like to join, just keep an eye on my channel. The join button is now at the bottom of the screen below the videos for you. Anyway, enough of that. I'd love to say thank you as well to all of you who have subscribed. You've got me here. I don't know how I've ended up this becoming such a full-on thing. I'm so grateful for all your help and support. I want to say some particular thanks to my friend Jenna, to Claire's Crafty Corner, to Toonfish Crafts, and to Daniel Cooper Custom Creations, and absolutely to all of you who've been watching my videos, commenting, subscribing, putting the likes, the little thumbs ups for me. All of that, every single bit of that has helped to get the channel to where it is, and I plan to continue to grow it. This is certainly a long-term thing for me, because I'm enjoying doing it so much and enjoying getting to know some of you as well, which is great. Right, there we are. Let's move on. I'm going to now just get some little bits of the foil and just snip at them and get them put onto these bezels. Yeah, we're going to be putting some of these little bits in. Now, some of these are quite tiny already, so let's see if we can use these up first. And I am going to layer them. So the first thing to do will be to put just a little dot of resin in each one to give me a nice sticky layer. The layer I've put in already is simply to give it that good base. And I will grab myself another little micro brush to do this with. These are great. If anybody's not tried micro brushes, they're just like tiny cotton buds. Not really brushes at all. But they're just obviously disposable, and they're tiny and they're easy to use. They're just great for all sorts of funny things I've been finding. Actually quite handy for your cosmetics as well. I actually tried putting eyeliner on with them the other day. I don't wear makeup very often nowadays, which will come as a shock to some of my former colleagues. And my ex-husband, if he's watching, actually. Hi, Smithy. I was always a bit of a makeup fiend before, but nowadays I don't bother. But yes, so I'm a bit out of practice, but I did find these really rather good for eyeliner, strangely. Okay, so we've got a bit of a layer in here. I'm not too worried if it's not perfect. I'm even not going to worry too much if I get a bubble under it. That might give it an extra bit of interest. I don't know. Anyway, we'll see what happens from here. So that's worked pretty well. Now, I've got my little tweezers. These tweezers, here's a trick for you. These tweezers, I've dunked them in. Oh, that looks nice already. Sorry, being distracted here. Yes, I've dunked them in silicone and let it cure. The reason for which being that then gave me tweezers that I can wipe clean and very easily. Yeah, and they also grip things better. But you know, when you're picking up little tiny beads and other little bits of your crafty bits, sometimes they just keep shooting out of your tweezers and it's really annoying. So this actually has made life a lot easier. And that's silly. It's just the most basic thing. Dunk your tweezers in silicone. I have to say, it did take a couple of days for the silicone to dry because it was on metal. I don't think it liked it, but it's worked. So there's another tip for you. If you want your tweezers to grip better, just dunk them in silicone. If at any point you want to get it off, of course, you can peel it off, because it is just silicone. Do you know what? This is therapeutic. I might speed this up for you. I might not. You might be enjoying listening to me rambling. Some of you people out there seem to, apparently, which is strange. But whatever makes you happy, I'm just glad. I'm just glad that you like to hear me wittering on. I'm very, very grateful for every one of you listening, watching, whether you're fast forwarding through bits, whatever you're doing, as long as you're enjoying my videos, then I am a happy bunny, to say the least. I'd like to say I only do this for you, you know. That wouldn't be true. I actually just love doing it. I've been crafting for years, and you know, I've always managed to sell bits. My eBay shop does okay, but it's only recently when I discovered just how much fun it is to get this stuff out there on YouTube that I've really started to get to a stage where I'm really kind of going for it. So, you know, whilst, yes, obviously these videos, they are for you, but they're as much for me. You can probably tell, can't you? Now look at that. That is going to be pretty. Right, now the round ones are a slightly different ball game. They're going to be awkward to put bits in, but I think I'm just going to dive in. Just goes to show though, if you've got any little bits and leftovers of anything, I mean this could be anything, couldn't it? This could be little bits of washi tape or anything you can think of, really. So, you know, don't chuck them away. Stash them, keep little bags. I think we all do anyway, don't we? And see what we can do. Right, now, here we go. This is when these colours should really start to pop, so let's see. I'll try to keep my nozzle back out of the, you know, my bottle back out of the way a little bit so you can see what's going on. But I'm basically just filling them up. Now, if there's any beginners out there, trust me, you can't get much easier than these. If you have a look, actually Claire's Crafty Corner, as I make this video, Claire's Crafty Corner has not long released a video on open back bezels using slightly different technique, the one with the tape and lots of cogs and things, doing like a steampunk effect, which are rather beautiful. And she'll say says in that video too, this is the easiest technique ever. It really is, and the effects are just gorgeous. But I just had all this stash come, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to use that. And the stash was the fusible films. So I'm just going to let these settle and I'll see if it needs doming at all. This, although the other resin, the high viscosity one, is specifically for doming, they've all got, most ultraviolet resins have got a sufficient surface tension. Well, actually epoxy has as well, if you let it stand a bit, let it thicken. But usually you've got enough surface tension to dome anything with a bit of practice. The trick is not overdoing it. Now I'm a bit of a devil for overdoing it. So far so good, I think. I'm going to put another drip in this one. Of course you can dome it and then dome it again. It's easier to get it right the first time though, I find. Okay, I think that's looking good. I'm going to get my torch on those before it goes any further and give them a seriously good cure up. So I'm going to hold the torch on these for quite some time, but I think you can see how the colours are popping already. Right, let's have a look and see what these look like. Now this is the ones that these two at the bottom, because they are closed bezels, I'm not going to need to do anything extra to finish them. You can see my foil went slightly over the side there. That's okay, I'll trim that off in a minute. But it's made the silver inside the bezel shine a lot more than it did originally, and the effects of that foil are gorgeous. And you think that's impressive? Well, I did, until the first time I saw this. Now I've done these before, so I did know what to expect from these. But look at that. Now those are just those bits of foil. You can see they're just snips of foil. But look at how they colour flip. Now of course you could fill it completely, you could cut circles. I've actually taught my Cricut machine these sizes, so I could cut a sheet of them into circles to fill it completely and then build these over the top. But I rather like the black background and the fact that they look like little snippets. I just think that's gorgeous. Anyway, these ones are the fun bit, because these are the ones I'm not quite sure what to expect from. So this is clear, and that has turned into some really funky, mad looking finish. What I'm going to do is turn these over and dome the back as well. And same here. I think the see-through is lovely. Now you could make sun catchers with these. A little bit need to trim there as well. That's not a problem. But yeah, you could make sun catchers with these, couldn't you? So anyway, yes, turning over to dome the back. And this is the black one. Now, some of the black hasn't worked, as you can see, it's on my mat. However, I think if I spread that, may as well go on to the metal too. Let's get it all over, including all over my hands. Now this is where the mirror trick would have come in handy. Also, you know, generally if you can, you do want to zap your ultraviolet from both sides. So I'm just putting a little bit more on here just to give a seal around the back. So yeah, you can use black. You're going to need to cure it from both sides. That's no news to anybody, is it? That's what you normally do. So I think if I were to do this again, I would probably do the mirror trick. Basically, let's just put a mirror underneath it. It reflects the UV back up. Or work on a transparent surface, like a transparent sticky mat, or or just tape, like most people do. And then just zap it from the back a bit. As it happens, what we can do is just dome this off. So I'm going to cure a bit more from the back, and then we'll dome the backs of them off and we'll be done. Okay, so we've given them a quick zap with the torch. That wasn't speeded up, folks, that really was how quick it was. And yeah, that's cured now. So I'm going to dome the backs off. just a little bit, don't need to go too crazy. This is more just for the sake of sealing it all in nicely and giving it a nice sort of, yeah, a nice finish to the back basically. That's all it's about, rather than just sort of a flat back that says to everybody, I'm the back. My wearer has got me on the wrong way round. That one there definitely is a back and a front. This one, either side could be the front, so it doesn't matter, does it? So a nice back to it is actually, in the case of this one, it's creating two fronts, isn't it? What I'll do when I finish these is I will take them into maybe some sunlight or something. Try and get a light behind them so you can really see what's going on. Now, as regards doming, if you haven't watched my videos before, I'll just mention that most people when they dome start in the middle and then push the resin outwards. I don't know why, I just find it easier the other way around, so don't be thrown by that. There's no right or wrong. Experiment and see what works for you. This just happens to work for me. Don't know why. I like... Oh, it's the way my brain works. Most things are backwards, I think, if the truth be known. Right, there we go. Let's get the torch over these again. They're a little lighter, rather. Little long neck lighter. Just clear off some of the bubbles, all of the bubbles. I don't know if there are any. For a lot of things, I really don't worry if the bubbles are there or not. Some things it matters, some it doesn't. Right, I'm going to get these cured up. I probably will just drop my nail lamp over them, because then they can just sit here for a while without me with my torch, and then I'll do some photos for you. Thanks again everybody who's subscribed, and you know, as I've just hit that big landmark in my YouTube journey, I can't honestly thank you all enough for how much support and help you've given me. I really appreciate your support. Now, to celebrate this, I'm going to be making one of these a giveaway, and it will be, I've just decided this actually on the spur of the moment, it will be the butterfly. So when I do something with the butterfly, which will be in the next video, which will be released in a couple of days' time, then yeah, there'll be a little bit of a competition there. I'll do a random prize draw to thank everybody for their support. So thanks everyone, and I'll see you for the next video, which will be that butterfly giveaway one.